We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. We'll do it live.
No.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
All right. Coming to you live. All right. Let's go ahead and stop that. All right, dudes. Doing this live here. We're going to take a live look at the Waves Abbey Road TG Mastering Chain plugin. But first up, equipment being used here, because some people like to know. Complete Audio 6 is the audio interface using the Complete Audio 6 driver that runs into a Zoom H6. And microphone is a Rode Procaster, no EQ, no compression, nothing at all on the voice here. Just right into the Zoom H6. All of that's plugged into the computer via USB, and that is running through Streamlabs here. You can get Streamlabs. There'll be a link in the description below to get Streamlabs. Okay, so we're going to run through this live. So it's probably going to be a rather long video because I'm going to take a look at it live here. Check it out live, just like you do whenever you get a new plugin. So, Abbey Road TG Mastering Chain. Take a look here on the Wave site. And by the way, you can save 10%. 10%. Where's my image at? 10% on Waves plugins. All Waves plugins, including this one here. Link in the description below. Okay. And while we're at it here, you can also shop. If you want Zoom H6, the Rode Procaster, all that stuff. I already have collections here that you can find on Amazon, so you can shop here. Standing desks. I'm using a standing desk right now, standing up, which is nice whenever you're mixing a lot or editing videos or whatever. Get tired of sitting down all the time, so a lot of collections of things for pro audio and video right here that you can just check out. Get rid of that. And also, of course, BenoniStudio.com. BenoniStudio.com for all your Benoni Studio needs. And you can also always come here if you ever forget where the 10% off is. I have a link right there. Just click that, and you can get 10% off of all of your Waves plugin purchases. If you want to get your own website, HostGator if you want. They're pretty good. All right, so that stuff out of the way. Get rid of that. All right, Waves. Abbey Road TG Mastering Chain. So this is a modular mastering chain plugin modeled after the EMI TG 12410 transfer console used in all Abbey Road mastering suites since the early 1970s to this day. Use the Abbey Road TG mastering chain to create custom processing chains with a flexible flow in the TG magic on the master bus. or individual tracks groups, in the mixing session. We're going to test it mainly on full mixes. Okay, so we're going to have it on our master, but we'll go through it here. All right, so of course used since the 70s, but it's also still used even today. So it's not just it's not just for that vintage sound. Okay, you can get a modern sound out of it too, and they've modeled in the limiter section, I think it was. Yeah, different styles there. So we're gonna go through this, like I said, live here, but just doing the housekeeping stuff here first, so we can check it out. Compressor limiter module, 2 flavors, aggressive and dirty, just like the 70s, right? Exactly how they modeled it. And then a modern version, which is definitely louder. Will get you a pristine sound. So if you're doing EDM or electronic music, you might want to use modern. Original just has a different vibe to it. All right, stereo duo MS, so the mid side. There we go. It has a live component to it, a live version of the plugin. Okay, 5 models can be used independently, used in mastering or in the mixing session. All right, part of the Abbey Road collection if you want to buy the whole damn thing. But there you go. Right now, $39. I've tested this out some, and it sounds pretty good. I'm not usually a huge fan of that, get that analog sound, but this, this actually sounds pretty good. All right, so enough of that stuff, right? Let's actually hop in here to Pro Tools. And before we delve in to, I have a sine wave here that we're going to run through these filters and see what they actually do. But before that, let's actually just try it on a track so we'll get an idea of how it sounds. Now, first up, let me hit him here. Go here to Waves Audio, and you can see we got the AR, so the Abbey Road TG mastering. We're on a mono track, so of course mono. If you're on a stereo track, it's going to say stereo. So you have your mastering, then you have mastering live, then you get your meter bridge as well. So on a stereo track, which we already have this instantiated, see the same thing. So stereo, stereo, stereo. All right, and you also have the meter bridge. That's a part of it too, and we already have that right there. Okay, but for now, let's make sure this is on factory default settings. Let's grab this track right here. Make sure it's soloed. All right, so what do you say before we really delve into this thing? Let's just go here to a preset. To get your presets, just hit load there. And we'll come through. We'll just find a preset here. Find something. Let's grab this one here. Let's try this again. Turn it on. So immediately it sounds a little better. All right. But we can make it sound even better than that. You can always start with a preset, and there's a ton of presets that come with this. I mean, absolute giant amount of presets. And you can also scroll through your presets as such with your arrows there. Let's go back to that one we had. That one there. Now, one thing I would suggest that Waves would do is get rid of this Waves bar and have their presets in a different way that you can click on them instead of having to use these buttons or have to go to load every time. So an example of that would be the way iZotope does it, for example. Let me bypass this for now. And I'll just show you this. It's easier just to show it than to just talk about it. So let's actually just look at it here. bring up Ozone 8. All right, so Ozone 8 is, I'm not going to say similar to the TG mastering chain because it's not necessarily, but it's sort of meant for kind of the same thing in that it's meant to master, but of course you can mix with Ozone as well. But what we're looking at here is the presets. So, for example, let me turn this down actually. If I go to the presets here, so genre specific mastering, if I just play back here, I can just choose something as we go. Of course, once you find something that you kind of like, just stop and you can, of course, tweak it from there. All right, so if I were to offer anything to Waves that they could improve, my opinion, would be to improve the preset management. I know they use the Waves shell, so they can have everything within, that framework, but it would be nice to have something more like that. Again, my opinion, but we're done with Ozone 8. Let's go ahead and get rid of it here. All right, so what do you say we make this even better here real quick, and then we're going to delve into this even more. So it already sounds better. But we can make it sound even better than that. Now what we can do here is you see down across the bottom input, here's your tone section, your limiter, and your filter. These are freely movable, so you just grab them and move them around wherever you want. So I can drop it here, and that moves it over, and this will move it over there. You also have your power buttons, so if the module's off, then of course it's off. Make sure it's on. Then you have the expand, the section there, so we see the full view of it here. So then we can switch them through them across the top here while we're expanded, or you can always collapse down. But whenever we're expanded, we'll have more options in here. So I'm okay with this chain here. But let's look at some of this here and then listen to it. I'm just going to start tweaking things as we go. Okay, so I like that for the input stage. I like it a little bit driven, personally. Some people like to pull this down and then pull up their output section. Perfectly fine if you like the sound. I like to drive this thing. I just like the way it sounds. A little dirtier, a little more analog. So now, see across the top here we have ST, Duo, and MS. So stereo, the Duo, and then the mid side for each of the different modules. Okay, whenever you expand this, you'll see some differences. So if we go, for example, onto the MS, so this side is the mid, okay, and this would be the sides, and this here would just be left and right. Same for Duo, be left and right. You can also link your buttons. So, for example, right now, or your knobs, right now they're linked. So if I change band 4, both of those will change. You can do the same thing in mid side too, by the way. Link is off now. So say I want this to be around +2 and want this to be around -2. I can link them now, and now that will stay. That difference will stay even whenever I change one or the other, as you see that there. All right. So for this, I want to work on the tone section right now, and I actually do want it in the mid side. So let's hear this. By pressing this speaker icon, you can solo that frequency. And this is the mid, okay? Bring to the side. You see the difference there? So I want to work on the mid here. Choose my center frequency and the shape of that. Then if I want to boost or cut that. All right. So in here, it's kind of muddy. Pull that down a little more. Already cleaned it up a little bit there. This is the mid. Okay. Do about the same thing with this band. So what do we want to do here? So here, I want these guitars to sparkle a little more. Let me switch this band up here. There we go, slide past it. Back on. Instantly better. I'm using this here to sort of get a little more of that click in, that snap down the mid. Very good. So right now, we have our limiter on modern, okay, which is definitely louder if we put it on original. Let's move up in the track a little. We'll switch over to the modern. Choose your mix. Pull it out up to 100%. Over there is good. Here our filter section. So for the filter section here, what I'm thinking is, we'll see, right now it's on left, right. Let me go to MS here. So I can get the sides a little different than the, so that mid signal is coming through. We're gonna go ahead and pull this high pass up here. This one I'm gonna put on 40, just to control that low end a bit more. Now this, for the, I think I might want that all the way up. So when it's on high, it's basically off. We're gonna look at the instruction manual here pretty soon as well. And that's probably okay there. So let's listen to it. There we go. We're about done. Now we have this spreader here. You don't want to go too crazy with this here. You get it really wide. Doesn't sound bad like that, actually. I like to make it a little bit wider. We can check it in mono. Sounds good. There we go. I think we're done. Bypass. Much better. Oh yeah. That's just, it's hitting harder. It's more open. It's like we pulled a mask off of that track. One last time, and we're going to delve into this even deeper. Let's bypass right now. Let's pull it back on. Listen to that kick. It hits much harder, but not too much. Not too much in the low end. A little more click. Guitars are more present. Like everything is just more open. Again, like it's been unmasked. And it has that great analog magic. Although it's not magic. Although, you know, analog style filters will do different things to your signal that a completely clean, you know, a filter might not. So, before we delve into that, you'll see right here, we have this on the master track because we're treating this, you know, like we're doing like a full mix, for example, you know, through our master, and the track name is Master 1. Now, if I have the mastering chain instantiated on another track, if I happen to have more than one, for example, let's go ahead and open up one here on this track. You can see down here the track name. This is my 600 hertz track. Makes it really quick and easy to, you know, which one of these you're dealing with. And if we check the meter bridge here, you can switch between them right here. Quick and easy. All right. So now let's, well, I guess we should probably open the manual, even though I showed you most of what it can do there with just this one track, but we're going to delve deep into this here. Open this back up, and to get to your manual, hit the icon there, the question mark. Get rid of that. All right, let's go through this. The instruction manual here. So, modular plugin for mastering and mixing, modeled on the original EMI transfer console used in all Abbey Road's mastering suites from the early 70s to this day. All right. So you have the input module, the tone module, a musically versatile 4-band EQ with 5 filter types per band, and that's very important. We're going to look at that, exactly what that means, okay? So, limiter module, we have the aggressive and dirty precision modeled after the original, the original unit there. Then modern, which is pristine sounding, so less dirty, less affected in the same way. So an original waves and Abbey Road design, and then we have a limit option as well. So a much harder knee on that. Filter is a nice low pass and high pass filters and a presence bell. Again, we're gonna look at exactly what that means, and complete with a stereo spread enhancer. Okay. So quick start. Go through here. Insert the plugin on the master channel, which is the way we're going to use it. But again, you can of course use this on individual instruments, which we should be able to do that too towards the end. And so of course adjust the input gain. You can handle phase and balance issues. I'm not going to do much of that because we don't really have any of those, but you can do that. You can use the meter bridge on any channel. Okay, adjust the input level to get good 0 VU input readings. which is a good idea to do that. I'm probably not going to do that in here, but it's a good idea to pay attention to this here. So experiment with the tone, right? So, okay, they're saying use the modern mode if you're doing modern music, of course, but we're going to test them all out. So the limiter module with the recovery control. 3, 4, and 5 are the ones we found most suitable for mastering. Okay, 3 for more upbeat, 5 for slower ones. All right. Ratio 30-40 and a mix of 40-50. Of course, that's all up to you. All up to you. Okay, components. We already looked at the mono, the stereo, the live mono, and then the live stereo. So the live components are optimized for live use, where extremely low latency and minimal CPU usage are required. We're just going to be using the normal, okay? The wave system toolbar, I already looked at that. And then all of the basic controls, the on-off switch, so make sure, of course, you turn those on or off. The expander collapse, we already looked at that. We already looked at the ST, the Duo, and the MS. All right, so, it's always going to be a stereo output, right? Okay. The link, looked at that already. We already looked at the navigation and the track name. And then the input, okay, I already looked at that a little bit. Now the tape equalizer, okay, applies a filter to flatten out the frequency spectrum. Okay, originally in the hardware domain, this was done when playing back the track from an NAB or IEC tape machines, either 7.5 or 15 IPS, in order to provide the equalization required for playing blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. So in your digital mixes, you will not need to use this control for that historic purpose. But they kept the control due to its great sonic character, and as you can probably tell in there, it does have a character all of its own. So, put this back on flat, for example. We'll play our track. Much different. Much different. So just play around with that to get whatever you like best. So the poles, we're not really going to do anything with that. But you can flip the input phase by 180 degrees if you want. Transpose, left and right channels. Again, I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. But you can do that if you want. Of course, we can change the balance if we need to do anything like that. Same thing for phase. All right, so good for stereo tracks that have phase correlation problems between the right and the left, or the left and the right. All right, onto the tone module. Now this is where we're going to have to start delving in deep, taking a deep dive. Highly musical and versatile 4-band EQ. So each band has 5 fixed cutoff points and 5 filter shapes. Now this is usually the hardest thing to understand, is what do all of these buttons actually do? Like what are all of these knobs for, right? Like what does this even mean? 205, 26, 325, and then your low, your BL, your mid, your sh, and your huh, and your high, right? What does that mean? Well, that's what we're going to look at here, probably right now. So of course, the frequency determines the cutoff point for each band. Okay, so 32 up to 128, 181 to 724, and you can read the rest of that yourself. Of course, we have gain for each band, and then the shape, which is where it can get a little bit tricky. So low is a low shelf filter. BL is blunt, which is a very wide bell filter. And then the mid is, of course, a medium blunt, which is a moderately wide bell filter. Sharp, the SH is the sharp, is a very narrow bell filter. And then high is a high shelf filter. So you're going to see that all through this this plugin here. Okay, so low, here's high, here's the blunt, the medium, and then the sharp. we're on the MS, even if we're on stereo, you can see the same thing. Okay. So what do you say? The easiest way to explain this is to actually look at it visually. So let me bring ozone back up here, because I think it has probably the easiest way to understand this. Pull this up again. Okay. Okay, so here we are on the EQ, here in Ozone 8. So, pull this out of the way so we can sort of understand this a little bit more. So first off, we'll look at low. So if you put it on low, put something on low, for example, we'll go down here to 1. So first you're finding your frequency. So 32 hertz up to 128 in this band. Okay, it would be like coming over here and trying to find, you can see my frequency right here. Okay, so if I wanted to find, we're on 64, so I'd find 64. Where is it? About there. Okay, so that's, finding your frequency. Next is, of course, the gain. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? The next is the filter type. So right now it's on low, and we know that low is a low shelf filter. So a low shelf filter, which we have a low shelf filter selected right now. So you can see what that does whenever I pull it down. So if I go minus 9 dB, that's what that would look like. If I pull it way up here to 164, you can see the shape of that filter. All right, so that's what your low is going to be, sort of like that. I don't know the exact shape that they modeled, for this mastering chain, but that's your basic low shelf filter. Now, what about high? Well, high is, of course, the opposite. So again, high is a high shelf filter. So if I come up here to, we'll go with band 7. Grab this one. Let me turn off band 1 for now. So we have band 7. It's a high shelf. And of course, there's different kinds. We'll go on vintage for now. You can see how that filter works. Again, it depends on the kind of filter. We'll just go to this here for now. So this is the basics of a high shelf filter. So if you're boosting, if you're choosing high, or you're choosing high up here, you're choosing somewhere around 11, and you're boosting that up. So 11K, so 11K about there. And say you want to boost it up 6 dB or so. That's sort of what it will look like. Again, it depends on the exact kind of shelf, because as you can see, the different types of high shelves are different. You can see on this high shelf, for example, you actually get a bit of a dip down here in the lower end, which is pretty cool. And that's what makes all your different EQs and things like that sound different. So there you go. High and low. Again, there's your low, there's your high, the basic shapes of those. Now the other ones are pretty easy to understand. So our BL, our blunt, our medium, and our sharp, those are bell filters. Again, we'll look at it here. Your blunt is a very wide bell filter, so it's going to cover more frequencies. Medium, of course, won't cover as many, and then sharp will cover the fewest. And that means this here. Let's turn off these two bands. And we'll come in here to band 3, right here. And we have a bell filter selected. So if I just pull it up, and let's make this a very wide, like we're simulating the blunt. So that would be like a blunt wide filter, like really wide. Okay. So again, it's just choosing your frequency, and then adjusting your gain up or down, and then choosing the shape for how many frequencies, like how wide is that bell. And from there, the medium, well, what do you think? It's just not quite as wide. So maybe like that. I mean, it may be larger than that. I can't tell you exactly, but maybe it's like this. And of course, sharp. So if it was on medium, okay, this would simulating medium, and then sharp would be, of course, much more narrow than that. Again, I don't know exactly how narrow they're going to get. We're going to look at it through Insight here pretty soon, but maybe it's a bit tighter than that. Okay, so that's your different shapes. Again, your sharp, something like this, affecting the fewest frequencies. Medium, think maybe something like that, maybe, affecting more frequencies. And then your blunt, affecting a lot of frequencies. And then again, your low, and then your high. All right, so once you understand that and the shapes, from there, it's pretty easy to figure out what you want to do. You just have to listen to the music and think, okay, well, is this too hairy on the top end? Does it need more sparkle? What does it need? Is it too thumpy on the low end? Am I going to remove that thump by, maybe setting it on low and maybe go around 45 and then pull some of that out? Or maybe I just want to do like a really wide blunt filter on there and pull some out as such. You could do it like that. Or maybe you want to use more of a sharp filter and pull some out like that. Okay, so that just sort of simulates it real quick there. All right, very good. I guess we should also look at the filter section here. This is basically the same thing. So we'll come back here. Onto the limiter, and then we'll get to the filter. So limiter module lets you choose between the, of course, the original Zener compression and limiter and a modern compressor. So there's the different types. You can read that if you want. Now, the limit is not a brick wall limiter. Okay. So it's not gonna stop everything like a brick wall limiter would. Recovery. So select between 6 recovery times, depending on the type you use. Recovery times are very hard to put in terms of exact milliseconds. Just think of them in the following terms. The higher the recovery state, the longer the attack release time. Okay, so the higher, the longer the attack and release times. All right, so just experiment with that. Makeup, of course, you're going to make up any gain that is reduced. You can make that up here in the limiter section with, of course, your makeup knob, just like any other sort of limiter and compression that you have. And there's, of course, your different types here in your recovery. Pretty straightforward there. So our ratio, okay, set a certain point on the VCA curve, an input of -12 will result in an output of -24 at a 100 ratio. Then at 50 ratio, the same input of 12 will result in -18. Okay. So, it's best to just listen. Okay. Sidechain filters. I'm not going to get into side chaining, but you can do that as well if you want. And so stereo, left and right channels are summed in the sidechain. Sidechain values are the same. Duo and MS, the left and right channels of the sidechain are processed separately. Same for the mid-side, processed separately. Gain reduction meter there. Your mix, of course, pretty self-explanatory. Onto the filter. So we have a high pass, which of course lets the highs pass, and a low pass, which does what? Lets the lows pass. Then we have a presence. So you choose from 8 fixed cutoff points of a medium blunt bell, which remember that blunt sort of bell shape that I think, no, we still have iZotope open. Okay. Let me see if I can pull it up here again. Again, that medium blunt bell, just think of it as kind of a wide bell shape, okay, where you're choosing, your presence. Like how much up do you want that? Of course, we're choosing between 0.5 to 10, and then how much gain or how much cut you want on that. All right, but what we need to look at here is, again, the high pass and the low pass. So choose from 4 selected high pass frequencies. So again, high pass means that the highs pass. So high pass cuts lows. Okay, low pass cuts highs. Kind of weird, but that's how they work. So if the high pass is on low, low functions as off, so it won't be filtering out any of your low end. So on the low pass, high functions as off. Okay, so it won't be cutting off the top end there. And I think we'll look at that in a minute. But just as an example, if there's too much boom on the low end, you might want to cut some of that out. So 63, 40, maybe up to 110. Really just kind of depends. But down on low, it's basically it functions as off. Again, that low pass, it's kind of like a filter, like a high shelf. Again, remember our shelf, not a high shelf, but either a high or a low, kind of like that. So we can do a high pass here. We have a high pass shape. So there you go. There's your high pass. As you can see, this is the low end of the spectrum. So if we're using our high pass up here to say 110, it would be something like that, depending on the exact shape that they're using. All right. Again, the same thing for your low pass. Go to this band here and do a low pass. So you can cut out some of that top end fizziness or harshness. Just filter that out, and then you have your presence with that band in the middle, that sort of blunt that you can pump up. So again, sort of simulating your filter section, kind of like that, just as an example. All right. It helps to see those things actually, visually, so you can sort of understand what they actually mean. All right, where's my drink at? Where's my drink? All right, output module. So the spreader is a stereo spread enhancer. Pretty, self-explanatory. Make the stereo image wider or more narrow. And then the monitoring section, which is, again, pretty self-explanatory. Monitor left channel, stereo, right, the mid, the mono, or the sides. And, of course, the mid is left plus right, okay? And then the sides is left minus right, or the difference of those two, right? Divided by 2. So, like the difference. Okay? You don't really have to worry that much about it. But if you want to learn more about mid side, you can always look that up. It's interesting. All right, so the meter bridge, I'm not going to focus too much on it. It's just the meter. All right. Read that if you want, but that is the end of the manual. And we already looked at, connecting the meter bridge with the plug-in chain there. We know about the track names, all that good stuff. All right. Phase correlation meter built in, but we're going to be using Insight. All right, so let's head back. Now, after all that boring stuff, what do you say we go ahead and master another track? And then we'll delve in. Let me get rid of ozone here. Just remember those shapes that I mentioned, because I'm going to be referencing those. Let's do another track here so we can actually hear this plugin. I've been talking long enough. Let's actually hear some of what this can actually do. All right, so we're going to be doing this track here. And we're all set up and ready to go. All right. We're bypassed right now, by the way. Let's get up here into it. All right, you can always start from a preset, or you can just start on your own, really, up to you. But since they have some really good presets, great to start from, let's just head in here and think about something here. Just anything that kind of catches our eye. Vintage mastering glue sounds kind of interesting for this track. Now, when I selected that, all these modules are off. So remember to turn them on if you want to use them. So this is actually, it might be a good starting point. Who knows? Let's see. All right. All right, so it's not really doing much to this track. So we're basically starting from scratch here, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Let's just use this one here, and we're going to start basically from scratch. So listen to your song. What do you want it to do? Well, again, I like to drive this thing. I like the sound of it. Some people don't. I already said that. Some people like to pull it down and make sure the levels are perfectly and, whatever. But I like the sound when this thing is driven a little bit. Now, turn this down just a bit while we're going on. What about our tape EQ? Flat sounds good, but let's try these. I like 7.5. It just works for almost everything I do. So if you were having balance issues, you could adjust that here if you wanted to fix that. But we're already good. You can also adjust your phase if you want. You could do this in MS if you wanted to, and do your mid and side differently. But stereo's fine for this module for me. Let's bypass it. So it's a little bit louder without it, of course, but we're pulling the level down here. So we're about gain matched. So it's already opened up just a little bit just from that tape equalizer. And also, of course, driving it on my microphone here. And, of course, driving it just a little bit. So now we can go on to the tone just by clicking here. Or, of course, we can always head out here and adjust from the front plate. Of course, remember, you can always move this stuff around, but this looks pretty good. I might move that filter before. Well, no, I think I'll leave it there. Let's just leave it there. Make sure I'm actually gonna turn that on too. Okay. Now let's. I already know what I want for the tone. Is I want to go to MS. So let's go ahead and expand this. We're gonna work on this now. So that now again we're in MS, so mid side. So basically what's coming down the middle, it's not exactly 100% accurate to say it like that. I know some people will complain that that's not mid-side. I got it, okay? But to understand basically what's coming down the middle, all right? So let's choose a frequency and the shape. Again, remember those shapes. So this is a blunt. If I go to sharp and I'm centered around, or the cutoff is at 45, it's going to sound different whenever we're soloing through just that, just that frequency and just that shape. Right, much more pointed there. But what I want, so that's the low shelf. What do I want to do? Do I want to cut that or do I want to boost it? I think, so we're going down the mid here. Okay. This is what I want here. Slight boost to that. Bit of a cut there. Okay. All right, just have that stick out a little bit more. Now for the side. I know on this top end here, I want it to bloom open. So I want this high shelf shape. And probably between 8.1 and 11, I'm going to pull it up. All right. Now here, pull a little bit out. Already clear. Same thing for this. That's just too muddy. Feel the difference? Just to remove a little bit there, so the side opens up a little bit more. Everything pops through a bit better. Move on to the limiter. So right now we're on modern. Take this recovery up a bit. And put it on original. Go back to modern. It's louder overall. I don't know. I kind of like the vibe of the original for this. Whereas on the other track, I like modern. For this one, I kind of like the original and just do a little more makeup gain on that to hit those same levels. This is our mix down here. So pull it out, start pulling it in. So, technically I'm putting too much on the in, technically, but if you like the sound, I mean, who cares, right? So, you might want to come in here and pull it down a bit if you want to get technical, but I don't care. I think it sounds better up here. All right, so onto the filter. What do we want here? I'm gonna go to MS. So if you're wearing headphones, you can really hear this. You may not hear it as much on computer speakers. But if you listen to the sides, you know, sort of think of the sound that are coming through you through the sides and over here through the mids whenever I adjust this presence here and I adjust the frequency. Hear that on the side? Whereas if I do it over here on the mid, feels like it's hitting you more in the face there. Pull it down a bit. You're getting more energy down the middle here. So what I want to do though is I want it to open up. You know, I want those guitars and all that stuff, the cymbals, a bit higher. Now for the mid, I don't know yet. Let me see. Alright, we can do our high pass, get some of that low end controlled. Let me go ahead and bring up inside here, if it wants to come up. Alright, I need my spectrum analyzer. Pull this up here. See what happens to that low end? It's basically off. Now it's cutting that out. Down the mid anyway. So what I want to do, I'm going to treat them differently, the mid and the side. So for the side, I don't need as much. So we'll cut some of that out there. And for the high end, I'm pretty good. All right, go back to the tone here. Yeah, so we're getting a little more of that click of the kick in here, which is why I chose the MS. In 4.1, we're pulling a little more of that in. If I pull that down, it's not quite as present, right? So bypass. Back on. Opens right up. Alright. So we're done there. Now what about the spreader here? Check it in mono. Sides. Mid. Let's spread this out. Doesn't take a lot. That sounds kind of cool, but it's just too much. So think about there. All right. Guess what? We just mastered that song, and you know, if I wasn't explaining everything, it would have been about 15 minutes, if that even, really. Pretty quick, actually. This desk sounds pretty good. So let's go into where it gets interesting here. We'll start bypass and we'll turn it back on so you can hear what we did. opens right up. It's more punchy, wider, well balanced. Awesome. So this modern does sound good. But I kind of like the feel of the original. Then bypass it. Go back on. All right, there we go. It's already 2 tracks done. Now, what do you say we delve into this even more by running a sine wave through it, so you can sort of see what these filters do to the sound. So, some people might not find this interesting, but I do. So, first I need to set this up so we're not actually hearing the sine wave, because it sounds like this. And that's going to get annoying really, really quick. So what I need to do is think for a second, and I need to let me bypass this one. You can bypass this, we don't need that. Okay, so let me do this. We'll grab Insight here, if I can find it. Here it is. Because we're on a mono track, so yeah, here we go. That's fine, yeah. So that should be what we need. Okay. So the idea is, now we can play back. We're going to see everything running through here, but I can turn that down so it's not actually coming out to us and being extremely annoying. Very good. Now, you could use the Waves PXZ for this too if you wanted, but I just like Insight. So, this is a 600 hertz sine wave. As you can see, that's where it's right at 600. Okay, that's where that giant peak is. And what we're going to do, let me make sure I hit my target. We're going to test out some of these filters here and see exactly what they do. So again, we're going to turn down that master so we're not really hearing it, because we don't need to hear it right now. All we need to do is look. So let's see what happens. Let's drive the input. Unbypass it, of course. Pull this way up. Of course, turn it on. If I had... Yeah, okay. Turn that on. Can drive that input. Just to see what happens to this spectrum here. That's what I'm looking at. What happens to the harmonics. So if we put this on 7.5, what happens there? Okay. See the differences there? If you look up here in this area, we're between 7.5 on this NAB side with the IEC. So let me flip over here. You see that? The EQ shape is different. So go to flat. Flattens out a little. It's a little bit different, but we can definitely tell it here on this top end how it flattens out. See that? Okay. Now, let's switch over our phase, which we're not going to mess with here. Let's look at our tone, or the EQs. So just this band. Let's go to, so right now it's on the high shelf. Let me actually take that off. There. Just watch what happens here. Way up here. So I pull it down. You can see what happens. I pull it way up. You can see what happens. Again, this centered around, or that's the cutoff, the cutoff frequency of 5/8. So of course, if I put it up higher, it's going to be different. So it's going from about 11 there. Now if I put that on the low, and let's pull this down to 4/1. It's just easier to see. And cut that. You can see how that cuts when it's on low. And how it raises, where it raises, how it raises. Again, the 4.1 is where we're looking. So about here, where my mouse is, somewhere in here. Let's see what happens to everything around it. And if we go to our bell shape, you're really going to see this. At least you should. So let me pull that down. See that? So we can see the shape right here. It centers about these frequencies right here. So again, watch me pull it down. If I grab it here. You see that shape right here? That's what's happening whenever you run your music through it. Not a sine wave. It's just easier to see this sine wave. So again, up and down. If I do that sharp, you can already see how much tighter that is. So if I go to the blunt, look how that widens out. It's a much more vast range there of frequencies. You can see that there versus the sharp. Okay, that's very important to know, so you so you know what to choose. Same for your high or the low. All right, so that's basically all those. We don't need to go through all of these because it's going to be the same thing, just on the opposite end. So for example, let's put this back on to 0. Okay, so we came down here and we did 181 medium bell. We pulled that up. We can see what happens around here on +10, or pull it down. You can see how it comes down. If I go to a blunt, it widens out. Sharp, it tightens up. You can see it a little better when it's pulled down. Go to high or low. You can see what's going up and what's going down and exactly where. It's probably easier to see if I would do it up around 512 actually. Right in that range. So that's the low. Let's go to a sharp or high shelf. You can see how all of that's being raised. See that? From -10 to +10 at the 512 with the high shelf shape. So that's what's happening to your music. Okay. Onto the filter. Basically the same thing. Make sure I actually turn it on. So here's our low pass, which of course with a low pass, the lows pass. So right now it's on high, meaning basically nothing. Just going to put this on 20. Bit of a dip. And as we go up to 15, look way up here. Let's pull it down to 8 now. So now you can see that shape that we saw earlier from our high pass and our low pass filters. I was curving that down in this case. Okay. So you just choose the frequency. So 10, and it's going to go down, go to 8, goes down a bit more up here at 8. And then down. Okay. Now the other end is, watch this low end now. Take up to 110. You can see what happened to the low end now. Versus if it was on low, you can see it's way up here. So low is basically off. And then you go to 40, 63, 80, 110. All right. And then we have our presence. Put it on before 2. I'll go 6.5. And pull the presence up. So we see that mid blunt bell. exactly what's happening. Minus 10, plus 10, minus 10, plus 10, minus 10, plus 10. If I put it on 1/8, you can see what happens there. All right, so you could shape your sound this way here further. So cut out low end, and then maybe a bit of the high, and then add more presence there around the frequency of 1.8K, or whatever you want to choose. And then you have minus 10 to plus 10 to further shape that sound. When in mastering, you do, you're not always trying to do these surgical things. Sometimes it's like broad things that make everything fit together better. Sometimes, not always. I mean, sometimes you might do specific things to really make things pop out of the mix, but this filter here is pretty broad, as you can see. So I think that shows pretty much everything you really need to know. We can turn the limiter on. Really drive it. Original. Modern. Just trying to see what it does. See, modern is louder. You can see how it definitely is higher. If I put that mix up even more. Okay. You can see what starts to happen with these as we really drive them. Get those harmonic content out of there. So you really drive that. 7.5. Okay. I think we probably looked at this part long enough. Most people are probably bored, but I happen to find it rather interesting. Okay. So we're done with that. Very good. All right, so that's a very deep look at that TG mastering chain there. So now, I think we're done with insight on the mono. We can leave that one open if we want. Doesn't matter. Let's bring this back up. So now you honestly should know everything you need to know about TG mastering chain. So what do you say? We grab a... Well, you know what? So we still have this on our master. Let's bring it in. And here we have a vocal. So we can do it on individual things too. So again, you could put this directly on the track if you want, but I'm just going to run it through the master in this case. But you might want to throw it directly through the track if you're mixing. So let's go for a preset here. Actually, first let me just bypass it. Let's hear this a little bit.
'Cause we ain't seen what this could be. Quit playing games, just come in.
All right, so it already sounds good. Let's make it sound better.
'Cause we
Let's find a preset.
ain't seen what this could be.
You can, of course, start from scratch if you want.
Quit playing games, just come in.
Let's just see what they got here. Turn it on.
'Cause we ain't seen what this could be.
All right, let's focus around here, I think.
Ain't seen what this could be. Ain't seen what this could be. Ain't seen what this could be.
Okay. So, female vocal, what do I want to do here? Well, again, just me. I like to drive this a little. Some people don't. I like 7.5.
Ain't seen what this could be.
Already better. Now, let's go to the tone. I think left-right is fine for this. Yeah, it's fine. Let me grab this a little bit tighter.
Ain't seen what this could be. Ain't seen what this could be. Ain't seen what this could be.
Okay.
Ain't seen what this could be. 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 Ain't seen.
So I don't need a bunch of low in her voice.
Ain't seen what this could be.
So that's why I'm cutting some out.
Ain't seen what this could be.
Again, same thing there.
Ain't seen what this could be. 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 Ain't.
All right. Pull this down a little bit more here. This one down a little more. And let me check this.
Ain't seen what this could be. Ain't seen what this could be. Ain't seen what this could be.
Good. Now.
Ain't seen what this could be. 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 Ain't seen what this could be.
All right. Turn it on.
Ain't seen what this could be. 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 Ain't seen what this could be.
There we go. We got it. That's it. Sounds better already. Oh yeah, make sure I turn that on. Guess that wasn't. There we go.
Ain't seen what this could be. Ain't seen what this could be. Ain't seen what this could be. Ain't seen what this could be.
Okay. So, go back here. I'll bypass it.
'Cause we ain't seen what this could be. Quit playing games, just come in.
All right, so it already sounds good, but we can make it sound better.
'Cause we ain't seen what this could be. Quit playing games, just come in.
Much better. That'll pop through better in a mix. So again, bypass this last part.
Quit playing games, just come in.
So that low end, that
Quit playing games, just
quit playing,
quit playing
it's
games.
gonna get muddy, depending on what you have playing.
Quit playing games, just
So we dealt with all that with this mastering chain.
quit playing games, just come in.
There we go. So that's how you would do it on a a single source. What else can we do it on? Well, let's go to. Let's grab contact here. Let that open up. And I'm going to get a piano here. grab this here. Let that load up. Go grab my drink here. Put that on standby for a second. And we're back. Not a very long break there. So, piano here. Put that on solo. Very good. Let me grab some MIDI here. Because I can't play it in right now. Just grab anything here. Throw it in. Change that over. Okay. All right, so what do you say? We try this with piano. Again, you could have it right on the piano track. We're just going to leave it on this master. So we can find a piano preset if we want. And just check that out. Although nothing's on here. Okay. I'll go with flat on this one. I think I'm gonna go with flat there. I'm going to move the tone over here, actually. Go to MS. And. bypass it here. Turn it back on. Cleaned it right up, man. Just the input, the tone, we already cleaned it up. Much better. Again, bypass it. Here it is. It's just too MIDI and too muddy. Alright, so let's start over again. Again, we're still bypassed. Cleaned it right up. So we go in here if we want. Get the presence here. You can also double click and type in whatever parameter you want, the value. That's pretty good. Alright, I think we got it. So again, bypass. And back on. Much better. Because we could spread that out too, which might be kind of cool. Let me hear that. Bypass. Back on. Awesome. Very cool. So that's doing it on a another solo track. So we'll do one more of these and then we'll do another mix, I think. Then we'll wrap this up, I think. Let's try it on drums. Let's go for modern drummer here. The Abbey modern drummer. Grab this kit here. Throw this in. All right. And we can start with a preset if we want. Joe Barresi here. Drum room fix, maybe. Instant mix goodness. Let's go here. All right, pull this down. So make sure we're not going to clip here. All right, I think we'll go with there. Something like that. Let me slow it down a bit. There we go. Okay. go with that. So that preset is not going to work. I think what I'm going to do here is go do a factory default that out. And just so that this doesn't get too annoying, we'll pull it down. So I know what I need to do here. Turn this on. Again, if you want to drive the input, drive it. If you don't. You know, set your levels correctly if you want. Well, you know, whatever. I like this thing driven. It sounds better. So you can hear that difference there already. Versus this flat. That's punchier. That's the one I like here. Let's expand this mid-side. Already know what I want to do here. I'm punched up. Getting more click out of that. Already a bit cleaner. So sides now. Punches through in the middle a little better, like that. There we go. Bypass it. Modern. Fast recovery. Control that bottom a little bit. You can emphasize that kick if you want. That click. Or pull some out. That actually sounds pretty good like that. Just depends on what you like, of course. I get to punch through a little more. Top end's fine. Pull it down some if you want. I like it like that there. Spread it out a little bit. Alright, there we go. So bypass it. Of course it's quieter like that. There we go. Sounds more produced, sounds better already. Very cool. All right, man. So, of course, you could use this on synthesizers, pianos, as we did, guitars. There's actually presets in here for guitar, dirty guitar, clean guitar, just the kick, mix bus, vocal, snare, things like that. So, we did, of course, we just did the full drum kit. But you can do individual pieces of your kit or guitar, bass, whatever you want to do with this as well. Okay. Oh, what's this here? Okay. Okay, we could look at it as a few more things. But I think that pretty much shows it pretty well. I think you get the idea probably by now. Might be cool to run evolve through it, but I'm actually not going to do that. So I think... yeah, we're good there. Yeah. All right, so what do you say we do... I think we already looked at everything here. We looked at the manual, right? We looked at the website. All right, so let's just do another mix, I guess. And then we'll close this out. I don't need this. Get rid of that. So we already did this one, right? I believe. Yep, we did that. We did this. We did that. We could do this one, or we could do the... Actually, let's do this, and I'm going to do the other one too. I'm going to do this one here right now. So we can do kind of a cinematic style track here. Let's start with, let's say make it pop. Let's see what this sounds like. Bypass it. Now here, we're filtering before the tone, and then from the tone going to the limiter. So you can do this however you want. Everything's going to react a little bit differently depending on how you do it. But, this is fine. I'm just going to leave it like this. So this is mid-side. Control that low end there. Control it on the sides. Very easy. The mid. Getting those sides to pop in the mid to get a little bit out of the way. I'm going to spread this open a little bit. Again, mid-side. Now, what do we want to do here? Do we want this thunderous? Do we want to cut it? Actually, I'm going to change this here around. I'm going to pull this one out here. I'm going to actually pull this one in up here. There we go. Bypass it. Just pulls the mask right off of it. Kind of muddy right there. Opens it right up. Alright, then you can do your limiter, which I'm pretty fine with this. A little more on the ratio. There we go. Bypass it. There we go. Much faster once you're not explaining everything every step of the way. So there you go. What do we do? What don't we do? I'll do one more here. And we'll call it quits. Let's start with a preset because I feel like it. Let's see what we got here. What about wide and modern mixing? Let's just try that out. I'll bypass here. Pull it in. I'm about done. Okay, so you see what's been done with this preset here. You see how it's been pulled way down here on the output. Let's go to our limiter. You can see that the makeup gain is way up. Way up. Because that's the sound they wanted for that preset, which is, of course, going to sound different. Have a get my microphone back here. Having a bunch of makeup gain on your limiter is, of course, going to sound different than just going through your outs. We could pull this down and pull this up. And let's expand that track so we know which one we're working on. A little bit different. Pull it down. Right, it hits a little bit different. I don't like it that high. I think we're good there. Too much on the ratio. Recovery maybe 4. Maybe original on this one. You know, give it that original vintage analog-y kind of feel. I think it would fit this track pretty well. A little more there. More here, of course. So this one here worked pretty much from the word go. If I bypass it. Pull it back in. But we're gonna shape it a little more. Let's go left, right this time, or stereo. All right, what do we want? I actually like it kind of how it's set already. A little bit of a boost there. Now here, I'm looking for some mud. Pull a bit out, just to open it up a little bit. Now that top end I like. It's already set pretty much where I want it. Yeah, it's actually set pretty much perfectly. Now here. There we go. Pretty much done with that already. Put a filter here. That low a little bit, and the high a little bit. And let's mess with the presence. That sounds pretty cool there. I actually like that sound. Kind of widens it up. Pulls out some of that middle. But I'm not going to leave it like that. Instead, I'm going to come up to the top end and boost it a bit. So it hits a little better. Couple of adjustments there. I think it's a little better now. It's hitting really hard. I bypass it. Just listen to those guitars. They're slightly muffled. This is, we're going to open them up here. Let's go back to that part so we can hear that open up. There we go. Opens right up. All right. So that's it, man. The Waves TG mastering chain. And actually pretty cool plugin. They actually did a really good job on this one. Like I said, I'm not usually a huge fan of things that promise vintage sound or analog sound, but they did a really good job with this one here. It sounds really good on a lot of different sources. And again, you can do it on just straight up guitars, straight up piano, straight up vocals. Even that we did that cinematic style track, metal track, you know, pretty much everything. This preset works for this too. So bypass it. So listen to those guitars. We're going to open it right up. Boom. Now originally for this track I switched that to the mid side because I would probably do that again. It's just so I could have the perception of those sides, especially those guitars, be a little bit wider, a little bit crisper, and have the punch of the kick come a little bit more through. But we've already done that. If you want to see that part, just go back and watch it again. But there it is, man. Waves TG mastering chain. The real things to look at is your input section, is your tape equalizer, because that really makes a huge difference than your input. Yeah, sure, you should set your levels properly, but I always go by just what sounds good. I don't worry about what's the proper thing to do. I don't care. What sounds good, because nobody, I tell you what, man, nobody cares the tools you use. Nobody cares the levels you hit. Nobody cares. Okay? 99% of the public has no idea how to make music, how to do anything with mixing or the tools you use or the time you put in. They don't know. They don't care. Besides, they're going to listen to it on little tiny earbuds anyway, right? They don't care. So go by what sounds good. Who cares what the so-called rules are? Hit the perfect. I don't care. Does it sound good? That's all I care about. And that's all you should care about, in my opinion. So the only thing I didn't mention is, of course, you can save your presets. So if you make a preset, be sure to go ahead and save it. Okay. So you can always recall that whenever you want. So again, input section, tape equalizer. Take a note of that. Remember to turn on the sections. There's a few times there I forgot to turn one on. You're messing with your levels. It's like, why is this not changing? It's like, oh yeah, turn it on, dummy. And then of course, remember again, if you need to learn it again, go back and watch that section where I show you the different kinds of the bell shapes and the high and the low filters. That's very important to understand. Again, remember that you can solo those bands and go through your bell shapes so you can see, or your filter shapes, I should say, to see exactly what frequencies are being affected, by that band, right? So if it's on this blunt, we can hear that wide. Actually, that's not a good example. Let's go down here, or actually right here. There we go. Right, that's less frequencies. That's even sharper. And that's that high shelf shape. That's that low from our cutoff point. Okay? So now we're understanding what is it we're going to be adjusting. This is the sound we're going to be adjusting. Or this is the sound we're going to be adjusting. We're going to be raising that filter up or down. We can't change the filter. We can change the filter shapes that we would choose, but we can't actually change the filter itself. Okay, that's the beauty of analog gear, or the limitation of analog gear, or whatever. However you want to think of it, of analog gear. But use those solo buttons for each of your bands so you can really tell exactly what you are adjusting. You can delve in there to the right frequency range, the cutoff point. Right, like if I wanted to get mud out, which I did here, I'd probably choose either this shape, maybe low. It sort of depends. I think we're cutting out too much with that low shape, so we'll go to that blunt filter. Yeah, we can cut that out. Get rid of some of that. It opens up everything else, Which is, that's all mixing and mastering is. It's just, it's carving a space for everything to have its own to have its own space. So you can hear the kick clearly. You can hear the guitars clearly. You can hear the vocals clearly. You can hear everything clearly. That's all you're doing. You know, that's really all you're doing. You're cutting things and boosting things so everything can be heard at the proper levels. You know, is it closer to your face? Is it farther away from your face? Is it farther to the side of your spectrum? Where is it in the stereo field? That's really all you're doing. And if you think of it like that, your mixing and your mastering is actually pretty damn easy. All right, so limiter, you know, just if you want to learn more about limiters, look it up. I'm not going into it here. Modern sounds really good. I do like the original for the, you know, that sort of vibe it has to it. You can always make up a little more gain. Mix knob for that. Use the limit function if you want, the filter if you want. You know, go through your mid side and your stereo, or you can do duo if you want. And of course, your filter section, filter out some of that low end or some of the high end, and you know, choose your presence range, and then boost or cut that area. Again, I showed that in the video. You can go back where we ran the sine wave through iZotope Insight there, so you actually saw what was happening. So if you watch the entire video, you should be up and ready to run with it's a pretty cool plugin. Abbey Road Waves, Abbey Road TG mastering chain. Again, 10% off coupon code in the description below. It's good on everything, not just this, but any product that you want from Waves. You can use it time and time again. All right. And we went through the instruction manual, correct? I don't know. We've been recording, what, 2 hours here? Yeah, we went through this already. Yep, already went through that. All right, so that should wrap it up, dude. That is the Waves Abbey Road TG mastering chain. Worth checking out, and you can, you know, you don't have to straight up buy it. You can grab the demo and follow along in this video if you want, and then you know, use it on some material, or use it on a song that you've already downloaded or something from somewhere. Throw that in Pro Tools or FL Studio, whatever DAW you have, and spend a good hour or two with it, really messing with all of the parameters, and you know, get a feel for what it actually does. You know, again, with the demo, I think it's like was it a 14-day demo or a 12-day, 5-day? I don't know. I don't demo Waves products. I usually just, if I want one, I'll usually just buy it. Double click to enter your parameters. So if I wanted it to be 5, I could just type that in. Okay. Now in Pro Tools, I can alt click that to put it back to the center point. Again, your names on your mastering tracks, or on your track name, and of course the names in here. If you have multiples open, you can switch between them in your meter bridge, so you don't have to have a bunch of different meter bridges open if you want to use that instead of the meters in your DAW, or maybe, you know, iZotope Insight or something like that. Okay, so that is all we need to look at. Very thorough. I mean, very complex a very complex plugin, but also once you understand, you know, everything we've gone through in this video, you should be ready to go, up and running with this here. All right, so Waves Abbey Road TG mastering chain in plugins live.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.